Considering how yesterday the Supreme Court of the United States overturned the Defense of Marriage Act, which basically stated that same-sex couples who got married could not receive the same federal benefits as opposite-sex couples that got married, I figure maybe a good time to bring up the discussion of homosexuality again, because that's something that we're always afraid of to some degree. I find it very interesting that with most stuff we talk about whether you should or shouldn't do, we talk about the actual implications on society, what happens when you do this, and what would happen if you didn't do it. Whereas with homosexuality, we discuss the morality of it, why it's wrong, why people shouldn't do it, why it deviates from the norm. We don't actually talk about implications on the world, though. I saw a post on 4chan's poll board, though, POL for politically incorrect, which tried to counteract that and explain why homosexuality is a bad thing. They did this by drawing a correlation between homosexuality and, say, drinking or smoking. This is because when someone drinks or smokes, they are more likely to have health problems in their life. That doesn't necessarily mean that the act is wrong or that we should stop them, just that what they are doing is destructive towards their lives, and we should take concern if someone says they are a heavy drinker or smoker. The same thing could apply to homosexuals, since they are more likely to receive STDs, or STIs as I suppose they're called now, in their life. And of course, if you get an STI, for the most part, you're either going to have major health complications or you're going to die. So if you have a friend who says they're gay, you should be concerned for their health. Now, it seems good, except for the fact that you ignore the problem of how correlation does not necessarily equal causation. That's like if we found out in a superhero world that all the supervillains ate a lot of carrots. Therefore, you encourage all your friends and family to not eat carrots because it'll make you a bad guy. Whereas that isn't necessarily true that eating carrots makes you a bad guy. Maybe bad guys eat carrots because it gives them better eyesight so they can see the superheroes better. There are a million reasons why this parallel could be here. And I think there are a couple of rational reasons why there is a parallel between being homosexual and having a higher chance of getting an STI. The first reason is the fact that they generally don't use condoms very much. And this is because the most people, when they have sex, aren't thinking about safety and hygiene. They think about not wanting to have babies. They don't want to sacrifice 20 years of their life for 20 minutes of pleasure. Just wrap it up, and you're all good. If you're a same-sex couple, you don't have to worry about that, because there's never any chance of you having a child that you don't want with this other person. You can't conceive. If you want a child, you pretty much have to adopt. So they just don't wear a condom. People don't recognize how exactly condoms benefit the body when you use them when having sex. This is why, as a society, we should be more open with our discussions of how sexual education works. We should teach people how sex works and how they can be safe doing it. Not to say that we should teach them that sex is a good thing to have. In fact, I think that's another problem with the way that homosexuality in culture works, is that people who are gay are more likely to be promiscuous. I believe this is because we push it to the side as a taboo. We don't act like that's a normal part of society, and therefore they form their own subculture, their own community of people through which they can relate, and they form their own bonds with each other. A lot of people think that being gay is about the sex. You got the famous video of the African preacher who's like, oh, you got the poopy man, you open the asshole and you lick it. And then he takes the hand, he puts it up the poopy hole. And a lot of people think that's what being gay is. It's about the sex. It's about a fetish. It's really not, but a lot of people have just embraced that mentality within themselves. Gay people are more likely to have a lot more sexual partners. I believe the answer to this is to stop treating homosexuality as something on the outside. They just have an interest in someone who's different. They don't want someone of the opposite sex. They want someone of the same sex. They shouldn't be relegated to a different part of society on that basis. It's like a webcomic I saw once, where it shows two men living through their lives. For the most part, it's the same. They get up, they go to work, they chat with friends, they go to lunch, they go grocery shopping. But at the end, one goes home to a woman, and they hug each other and go to bed. At the end of the other one, the man goes home to another man, hugs him, and they go to bed. It says, what's the difference? There is no difference there. That's why this is what the alternative should be. This is what we should pursue. Not a system where they are viewed as different. It's only one minor difference in their life. If you want to talk about correlation and causation and actually solving the problem that is causing people these health concerns, it should be to stop treating homosexuality as a taboo and teaching people how to use condoms properly to protect themselves while they have sex. That's the answer, not just banning homosexuality or telling all gay people that they're cursed for the rest of their lives. That's not going to do anything. Thank you.